Today I'm going to show you how to make a Japanese version of French fries that is different from anything you've ever tried before. I'll reveal the secret umami-packed sauce and spices the Japanese use to take their fries to the next level. And we're not going to risk a 5-alarm fire in your kitchen by deep frying hand-cut artisanal potatoes. I'll show you the exact brand of frozen fries to use for the crunchiest French fries of your life. And we'll do everything in a standard oven. Now, because this is a French fry dish, we need to address the potatoes first. While you can make incredible fries at home from scratch, in most cases it's much more hassle than it's worth. To make truly outstanding fries, you've either got to blanch them first, cool them down somehow, and then deep fry, or fry them multiple times to avoid getting something that's a soggy mess, and your house ends up smelling like an oil refinery for a week afterward. So that's why I recommend using frozen French fries. I know they tend to get a bad rap, but there are several brands readily available that make a great product. And I'll let you in on a little secret. Every restaurant I've ever worked in all used frozen fries. And if you don't believe me, here's a quote from America's greatest living chef, Thomas Keller, echoing the exact same sentiment. One of the top reasons Bouchon uses frozen French fries is consistency. The consistency in these fries is often better than that of fresh potatoes. I tested every available brand of frozen fries at my local grocery store for this video, and the differences were staggering. These fries are too soggy. These fries have a weird taste. These fries are just right. Out of all the brands I tried, Lamb Weston's version is the best by far. These are right in the Goldilocks zone of deliciousness. They're seasoned perfectly, they have the right amount of crunch, and they stay crispy in the sauce we're about to douse them in longer than any of the others I tried. If you can't find Lamb Weston, I would grab a bag of Ore-Ida. I believe these are much more common and they're almost as good, I just don't think they're seasoned as well. But if this is all you can find, Ore-Ida is a perfectly adequate substitute. With the fries out of the way, let's discuss the best ways to cook them. I'm going to show you all the ways I tested from worst to best. So let's begin by heating our oven to the proper temperature. In my case, it's 425 Fahrenheit. The least effective way I tested is just to dump the frozen fries on a cookie sheet and bake them for the required amount of time stated on the bag. And this works fine, but it was the most unsatisfactory method I tested. The fries ended up with the least amount of crispiness, they got soggy in the sauce the fastest, and the texture just wasn't what I was looking for. So how can we level this up a bit without going crazy and doing a ton of extra work? What you want to do is heat up your cookie sheet in the oven while it's coming up to temperature, and then just dump the frozen fries on the hot cookie sheet, making sure to not overcrowd the pan, and then continue baking them per the instructions on the bag. And what this does is jumpstart the cooking process and increase the crispiness of the fries substantially. It takes no extra work and is definitely worth doing, but I still think we can do better. The absolute best method I tested was cooking the fries on some sort of grid that is lifted off the cookie sheet. This decreases the surface area of the fries touching the cooking surface and allows the air to circulate around them, thus increasing the crispiness all around the fry. And this method, in the oven at least, yielded the best and most consistently crunchy fries. You don't even need to heat up the cookie sheet while the oven's getting hot. Just toss the fries on some sort of grid and bake away. I also found that cooking the fries for about 2 to 4 minutes longer than the package instructions helped me make a fry that will stay crispy for longer in our sauce. With the oven methods out of the way, I want to share the absolute best method I found for making the crispiest fries possible outside of deep frying. And I'm almost embarrassed to admit this, but the air fryer reigned supreme in the borderline inappropriate amount of tests I did for this video. Because even though I live in Texas and it's summer right now, I still find the concept of frying in the air baffling. And yes, I understand it's just a convection oven, but I have a duty to report the truth to you. So if you've got one of these, definitely use it. Just bake for a few minutes longer than the package says, and I guarantee you'll have the crispiest French fries possible. Next up, we'll need to discuss the toppings. The secret dressing the Japanese use to take their fries to the next level is curry sauce. The great thing about Japanese curry is that it's very mild. It's almost a sort of half gravy, half curry hybrid, and it works amazingly well in this dish. I used to work at a Japanese izakaya in downtown Houston years ago, and we sold a version of these fries, and they were super popular. In the restaurant, we always used S&B brand Golden Curry. There are 4 different heat levels: mild, medium hot, hot, and extra hot. But don't let the names fool you. They are all exceptionally mild. The heat is almost timid. You see how this says extra hot? The lie detector determined? That was a lie. The second most common brand you'll find is Vermont Curry. It's not actually from Vermont, it's Japanese, but it includes sugar and fruit in the ingredients, so if you prefer a sweeter curry sauce, this is what you want to grab. Whatever brand you end up getting, they all come in these little blocks of curry roux that need to be reconstituted with a liquid. Typically, you just use water, and that works fine. Water is going to give you the most curry-forward flavor of any liquid. But before making it, I want to address one of the most common complaints people have when making Japanese curry sauce. They'll typically just dump the blocks into the liquid and not stir enough, so they end up with chunks of curry that don't break down into the sauce. To prevent this, what you want to do is chop up the roux before adding it to the liquid, and this will ensure the blocks break down totally and dissolve into the sauce. For one serving of fries, I always use 2 blocks and I stir them into 1.5 cups of simmering water, and then just stir to make sure they're totally dissolved and simmer until you've achieved the desired consistency, usually a couple of minutes. And it's as simple as that. Now, if you want to add an extra dimension of flavor, what I suggest using for the liquid is a broth or a stock. If you prefer a meatier, gravy-like taste, then use beef stock. And this is going to give you the mildest curry taste and more of a traditional gravy flavor. If you want something where the curry is a little more pronounced but is also much more savory, then use a chicken stock. At home, this is what I use because to me it's the best of both worlds. It's got a great curry flavor and is much more umami forward. With the french fries and the curry sauce handled, how are we going to season our fries? Before you automatically toss them in a bunch of salt, I implore you, please try them unsalted first. Most frozen fries are already seasoned a bit, and the curry sauce is quite salty, so try this way first. And if you decide you need some more, you can always adjust later. But what if you want some additional flavors? What about a spicy version? What I would do is toss the fries in some togarashi right after they come out of the oven. This is a Japanese ground chili pepper that is a very common condiment. And you'll typically find 2 different types, shichimi togarashi and ichimi togarashi. Shichimi is much more common, and you'll often find it labeled as Japanese 7-spice in Western grocery stores because it often includes other seasonings such as orange peel, black and white sesame seed, Japanese sansho pepper, and seaweed. It's fairly mild and has a nice, subtle citrus heat that works well in this dish. If you want moderately spicy fries, this is what I would use. But what if you're thinking, Jason-san, I want to crank up the spice level even more and burn my face off like Freddy Krueger? This is where ichimi togarashi comes in. It's the exact same chili pepper used in the previous version, but without all the other spices added. It's just straight chili pepper. And this is pretty much as hot as it gets in Japanese cuisine. It's a little more mild than cayenne, but it's close, so be very sparing with it because you can easily overdo it. If you're not feeling any spice but still want to get some Japanese flavors up in the mix, then I would reach for aonori. This is a type of ground seaweed that is often used in Japanese cuisine, and this gives the fries a nice boost of oceanic umami and doesn't add any additional spice whatsoever. So if you're making the fries for someone who can't stand the heat, what you want to do is ask them politely, but firmly, to get out of the kitchen, and then you can offer them some of your non-spicy Japanese seaweed fries. To bring everything together, let's toss our fries in whatever seasoning you want as soon as they come out of the oven. Then we'll add our curry sauce, making sure to get some decent coverage. I'm using the chicken broth curry here, but anything we've discussed will work fine. And then I like to top it with both black and white sesame seeds. These will add a bit of crunch and also some toasty flavor, but in all honesty, it's mostly just for presentation. Next, we'll add some thinly sliced scallion, and this will add a bit of freshness and some mild onion goodness, and who doesn't love that? Next, we'll add some finely cut shaved bonito flakes. And this is made of salted and smoked bonito or skipjack tuna. It's got a very delicate, smoky, oceanic flavor, and it basically tastes like fish bacon. That's the best way I can describe it. If you've ever made dashi from scratch, you're familiar with katsuobushi, which is essentially the same thing, just in larger flakes. And to finish it off, we'll add some kizame nori. And these are very finely shredded strips of seaweed. You know those black sheets they wrap sushi in? This is that, nori is what it's called, but cut into super fine strips. And that's something Kizame Nori and I have in common. We're both super fine. And this is a classic chips and curry sauce that is worth writing home about. It stays true to that iconic classic flavor combo, but with a whole host of new and exciting flavors. But before we give it a taste test, I want to show you how to kick it up even one more level. At the izakaya I worked at, we used to serve this with a 62-degree egg. And what we would do is cook the eggs in a sous vide machine at 62 degrees Celsius for at least an hour. And anytime we got an order, we'd crack the egg and drain it of the excess liquid to reserve mostly just the soft white and the yolk. Then we toss it in a ramekin with some curry sauce and top it with some shichimi togarashi for a rich and luxurious soft-boiled egg dipping sauce. So if you've got a sous vide machine, you need to try this. Now let's give it a taste test and see how we did. This is a certified hood classic. It's not going to win any beauty pageants, but we've essentially taken the iconic English chips and curry sauce and updated it with some novel and interesting flavors. And a fun fact, Curry was introduced to Japan by the British, so in some small way, I feel like we're returning the favor to the English with this dish. And if you'd like to take a hop, skip, and a jump on over to Korea and learn how to make an updated version of their world-famous street toast, make sure to check out this video. Thanks for watching. See you next time.